Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. The big difference between a servant and a free man or free human is that you can do whatever you want, versus the other one, you have to listen to someone else before you do something. You have to ask permission and you have to act within certain kind of boundaries. So that's why people who work for the government, they can't really talk loud, because if they talk too loud, they can be fired. Talk loud about the government, I'm talking about. But if you're a private businessman and you're not that loud, you can definitely cannot be fired by the guys that you're going to criticize, for good reason or for bad reason. So the same thing applies to the, how should I put it, international relations. When you hear a country being able to speak loudly and challenge some strong country, then that means that country is most likely strong and independent. So here we have China criticizing United States of America for good reason. China, I think, is pointing out to a reality, and they urge United States to stop occupying the independent sovereign country of Syria and extract Syrian oil without any United Nations authorization. So everything over there is illegal, what these guys are doing. But you wouldn't hear Romania, for instance, criticize the United States of America for keeping at least 1,000 troops on the sovereign independent country of Syria, or extracting its oil, again, under any legal contract or anything like that. Why? Because Romania is a weasel country. It's a vassal state to the United States of America. So that's why if they work for the government, which in this case is United States of America, they will be fired. The same in a little business. If you work for an owner, a private institution, and you say something about this and that, he probably is going to fire you. Okay, but the owner, that's the one who is independent, not you, because you gave your work to someone else to exploit or use, and that's a contract. You sign a contract. I agree for you to me for this amount of money that you're gonna give me. Okay, I'm gonna prostitute. I'm going. Why don't you become the brothel owner and you're going to do? I hire you. You get slammed this amount of times per day, and I'm gonna pay you this amount, and the profit I take. I don't share it with you, obviously, because I take the risks. You don't take anything. If I go bankrupt, you just go to someone else, but I lose everything. So that's one of the things that Marx did not talk about. Karl Marx, yeah, that one. So in this case, let's read this little article coming from Al Mayadeen, which again, it's an Arab media outlet, which is not under the government, which is United States, spell. So that's why they don't have to talk about whatever the U.S. wants, like, I don't know, CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, and all these guys, because they get fired, if you know what I mean, by the government. But these guys do not fall under that situation. Probably they have their own masters somewhere else. Because it's very hard to be independent. You have to be in one club, or at least accept protection from a mafia group. All right, so let's see what's going on here. This article comes from today, March 11th, 2023. U.S. must withdraw troops, stop plundering of oil in Syria, China. All right, let's see what these guys are talking about, China. I mean, are they just bad people or what? Beijing says U.S. troops in Syria have resulted in the death, I'm quoting, the death of a large number of civilians, end quote, and created an extreme humanitarian crisis. That's a nice picture. You have this tank protecting the oil field or whatever. All right, China slammed on Friday the U.S. illegal military presence in Syria. Is that a fact? Yes, it's illegal. Yes, was that voted by the United Nations Security Council or the General Assembly? No, so that's illegal, which has led to mass civilian casualties and severe humanitarian crisis. I don't know about that one, but the first one is valid. Mao Ning, a Chinese foreign ministry spokesperson, called on the United States to lift, and I'm quoting, illegal unilateral sanctions against the Arab country. Probably by, I'm assuming this is going to be, I didn't read the article, obviously. I don't read them. I do it straight to you guys. Because I know this, I know it's not much it's not that deep to figure out what these guys are doing already. Now, the interpretation could be deep because I say it. Just kidding, look here. So, illegal unilateral sanctions. Probably because the Americans have economically, financially sanctions Syria. Aid cannot come over there, therefore the country get impoverished, and then they think there's going to be a regime change, a spontaneous regime change. You know, that's how they go. Threats, blackmail, regime change, and then clear bombardment. They are at a level 3 right now. So, and I'm quoting, the United States has illegally intervened in military activities related to the Syrian crisis. That's true. Nobody asked them to go over there, but they decided that their security is under threat and they have to do it. So if I feel that my neighbor threatens me with, I know, yelling at his kid, I can go over there and stay over there and do whatever I want in there, including getting his food and, you know, inviting some friends over so we can have some party, according to the American doctrine. And if you like that, then I would like you to be my neighbor then and allow me to do all this. So, which has led to the death of a large number of innocent civilians and a serious humanitarian disaster, end quote, she said on Friday. And again, I'm quoting, we call on the United States to sincerely respect the sovereignty, independence, and territorial integrity of other countries and to immediately stop its illegal military presence and marauding in Syria, Mao added. I think this is clear. I think this is undebatable, undisputable. World champion of the world. Okay, U.S. in favor of maintaining military presence. Last Thursday, the U.S. House of Representatives voted down legislation on Wednesday instructing U.S. President Joe Biden to end the U.S. occupation of the Syrian Al-Tanaf region and remove approximately 900 troops. This is where they get the oil from, okay, this region. It's in the northeast of Syria, where it's about 90% of Syrian oil. I think they were just lucky, these guys. The resolution, initially introduced by the Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz, very good guy, was supported by only 103 members of Congress, as the majority of members of Congress amounted to 321, have voted against the pullout. Well, if you look at this, that's 1/3, all right? Roughly 1/3. Well, what is Biden's approval rating? 41%. So it's a little bit over 1/3. So that means how come he is still ruling this country, and how come these guys did not this resolution did not pass? Well, because it's democracy, I mean, it's about a majority rule. Well, Biden doesn't have the majority. Yes, he had it 2 years ago, Emil. Yes, he had it, so he can screw my country and my life for 4 years. Yes, that's the way it is, Emil. Okay, my bad then. And I can't do anything about it? Well, no, you have to work within the system, Emil. That's how I've been told in college in the United States. Yeah, you have to work within a system. That means what? Well, you're going to raise awareness of all this, and then you go and vote. Or maybe you can run for office. Yeah, thank you very much. If I have, what, $300 million, I can watch for a position of dog catcher in the neighborhood. Yes, Samuel. Okay, thank you very much. I love this kind of democracy. Oh, it has an American flavor. All right, Gates argued that, and I'm quoting, Syria is my lead-off hitter. We're going to take a trip around the globe. We may go to Yemen. We may have stops in Niger. We may have stops in Sudan. Maybe ultimately we end in Ukraine, end quote. In Congress, Texas Representative Michael McCall and the Republican chairman of the House Committee of Foreign Affairs falsely claimed that the, and I'm quoting, withdrawal of this legal authorized U.S. troops deployment must be based on the total defeat of ISIS. Well, probably the legal and authorized deployment is talking about the U.S. Is legal under its policy. Like I would say, under my policy, I can go to my neighbor's house and demand some services, right? But it's all legal based on my, statement. It's all fine. But about the communities or about the I don't know, neighborhoods policy? I don't think so. Not that I don't think so, I know so. And I'm quoting, this measure forces a premature ejaculation and to our mission at a critical time for our efforts. A critical time, yeah, said New York Democrat Representative Gregory Meeks, who opposed the bill. Okay, man, whatever you want to say. Not a first. This is not the first time that Beijing bashed Washington's illegal presence in Syria and plundering of its resources. Earlier in January, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Webin said Syria's energy crisis and humanitarian disasters are a result of American theft and larceny. Wang expressed that illegal robberies in Syria have become overtly excessive. 80% of Syria's oil production, daily oil production, he added, has been raided by the U.S. troops just since the beginning of this year, and 60 tankers and trucks of Syrian oil and wheat have been ravaged. He also highlighted that the United States' greed is looting Syria's resources, underlining the irony of their generosity in shipping billions of military aid to foreign lands to finance war, a jab at involvement in wars around the globe. So yeah, in December 2022, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Zhao Lijian opened fire on the U.S. illegal military presence in Syria, shedding light on the continuous U.S. looting of Syrian oil. She said, or he, I don't know, he. The U.S. stationing of troops in Syria is illegal, he said, and I'm quoting again, the U.S. smuggling of oil and grain from Syria is illegal. The U.S. missile attacks against Syria is also illegal, he said then. I think under the international law, I don't think you find legality on this one. On your own policies, of course, you can find that. You twist however you want your things. The Chinese diplomat also highlighted then the financial losses of the continuous U.S. looting and smuggling of Syrian oil, saying, and I'm quoting, according to the official data from the Syrian government, between 2011 and the first half of the 2022, the U.S. smuggling activities have cost Syria more than $100 billion of losses. And I'm quoting, when the U.S. talks about rules, it is often just trying to fix a pretext for saving its own interest and perpetuating its hegemony, he stressed. Well, this is what these guys are saying, and I read it for you so you can make up your own mind. And that's the way we do. We get someone makes a statement, we check it, and we find out if it's true. And it's not hard to find it's true. And obviously we can look and see, hey, is this legal? Was there a UN authorization? Because that's how you go, international law. Remember that one? We use it when it's we're weasels. They use it. We are weasels because we are way below them and they can change our lives. We can't really change their lives, if you know what I mean. We have to work within a system. And they work within a system as well. They... So anyway, that's the way you analyze it. See if it's true, find out, and then you say, well, I think you're a weasel. And you say, why? I've been watching and following the Syrian ISIS and all this. And no, I didn't hear anything about U.S. troops being invited by the legitimate, authorized, the government of Syria, of the Syrian people. As good, as bad as it is, or being portrayed as being. Like these guys here. Do you think these guys are perfect? No, for reasons I can expose for days. It's just those guys are having their country. Oh my God, the ISIS. Well, ISIS is a resultant of what? Al-Qaeda? Oh, and Al-Qaeda is a resultant of what? Oh, the Mujahideens in 79 and 80s in Afghanistan. Oh, who supported those? Oh, and see, it's like a boomerang. We can't talk about these things and they don't mention it. Why don't they mention it? Because the attention span of a weasel with an IQ of below 86 is about 3 minutes, lower than a deer. The deer, the one in the woods, that one. The deer has up to 5 minutes. Humans have about 3 minutes. I'm just joking, obviously. But that's why they have to repeat certain piece of information and garbage every day, often enough, so the weasels don't forget. They don't get off course. And certain things that they give you, I say, oh, see, the media is balanced. They inform me about this one, and after 3 minutes, they forget about that one because the media doesn't go with that with that news every 3 minutes, but it goes with this piece of news. So you're gonna be very aware, you, the weasel, every 3 minutes about this one, you stay on course with this one, and that one was mentioned 4 minutes ago, you forgot about it. I'm talking about weasels, okay? Not you and I, because if you are this far into my video, that means you're not a weasel, that's for sure. Unless you take notes and say, okay, what else is the guy saying? Let's see, how can I him up? Yeah, he said that, say, Emil, say it. So it's either people who, agree, or people who are having an open mind and say, okay, let's see what this crazy is saying, or they're the other ones are taking notes to see, okay, all right, okay. Do you think this will work? Will this be signed by the judge? No? Shit, Emil, try harder. Say it, Emil, say it. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.